Hi, and thanks for joining. My name is Mike Cohane. Today, I'm excited to show you workflows in the Meraki Dashboard. That's a new capability brought to the Meraki Dashboard that's going to allow you to create workflow automations. In our introductory lesson here, we're going to just walk through the basic menu sections that are available in this new automation section of Meraki Dashboard and give you a general introduction. This will set us up for future lessons. Let's get that started. We start off in the Meraki Dashboard. New to the Meraki Dashboard is Cisco Workflows, and we can find that down here under Automation. So if we put our cursor over here under Automation, we'll see we have lots of options. Let's go through the main aspects of these. The main area we want to take a look at is called the workspace. The workspace is where we can view our workflows, create and edit our workflows, make general changes to them. So you can see here I have lots of workflows. I can filter on these. I can search for workflows by category, by name, and there's different types of workflows. We'll cover all of these in a lot more detail in upcoming videos, but I want to give you familiarity on where things are. So here in the workspace, that's where our workflows are. If I come over here to the right side under Actions, I could view them, I can run them. If I actually click on a workflow, I can begin editing them. You can see here I've dropped into my workflow editor. In our next videos, we'll get in here and we'll discuss how this works, how we create workflows. But here we're just taking a quick tour, so wanted to show you where those are. So this is our main workspace. What other areas do we have? Run monitoring. When we run workflows, we get to view each step of the execution, and we can see that live when we run a workflow. But if we run a workflow either by scheduling, maybe driving with the webhook, we might want to come back and take a look at it to see what that looked like, and we can go into the run monitoring section to do that. So here in the run monitoring section, I can look at specific flows, and I can do a search. I'll search for one of my workflows I executed, and I can see a run. Now I can click on that and get full details of what happened in that run. All the variable executions, what their values were, each step of the flow, what paths it took, if there were any errors, I could look at those and debug them, or I might just want to see the output results. And again, we'll get into a lot more discussion on how to look at these variables, look at these results from a run, real time, or like this, coming in post-mortem and taking a look and see what's run. In this case, I can see my workflow executed the way I expected. So great, that's what run monitoring is all about. Now the next thing we should take a look at is targets. What are targets? If you're not familiar with the concepts of workflows, workflows run against selected targets. So that might be a Meraki domain, that might be ICE, it might be Catalyst Center, it might be a web service somewhere, it might be a third-party element. Whenever I want to run executions against a target, I have to add it first. So here's an example. Here is we'll take this one right here. This Meraki BXBDMZ. This is a Meraki organization that I want to run workflows against. Let's take a look at it. It's a Meraki endpoint. I've named it, and I've provided some keys. Now this key in the case of Meraki is my organization API key. And I'll show you that in a minute, how we do that. And I set up basic information. The target destination for a Meraki endpoint is api.meraki.com. This is all documented. If this was some other element, I might have to have a proxy to reach my targets, and I would set that up. So that's generally what a target looks like. Let's go back here again. Let's create a new target. When I create a new target, you can see you are provided with a whole bunch of predefined types, and each one of these will have different types of information that they want. If this was a Git repository, for example, the information I need would change a little bit. This is a Meraki endpoint. Then here we see something that looks like we just viewed. What are my account keys? That's my organization's API key. And then information about how do I reach the cloud. So let's dive down on account keys. Where do I set that up? If I want to add my API key for a Meraki endpoint, if I go to automation and I go down here to account keys, you'll see I have a whole bunch configured. And here's my Meraki key right here. I'll click on that. And what I've done is I've added my secret API key for my target to use when I configure it. And that will store it for any future targets that I want to set up. I may have multiple organizations I want to set up as targets for Meraki. And the same thing you could see here, that ICE is configured here. We have a Catalyst Center set up. We have an FMC set up. And we could repeat this for every target we want to do. So as we go through our lessons, we'll be showing you how we create targets for different types of workflows as we go to create them. Now if we come over to rules, this is where I'll set up things like webhooks, or if I want to set up calendar events for execution, or if I want to create automation rules, and that automation rules may in fact include webhooks execution. These will all be explained in future lessons, and these are set up here under the rules sections. All of this is in documentation, and again, as we go through the lessons going forward, you'll get more familiarity with how we use these. We'll have a section, for example, on webhooks. So that covers the major sections. Oh, let's take a quick look at variables. When I run workflows, I may want to run against some predefined information that exists outside of my actual workflow. I can set up variables, and I'll click on this. I could set up variables that I could reference from within my workflows that are globally available to everybody. So I could come up here and set this up. I have a variable called Meraki that I'm using somewhere in a workflow, and that allows me to share information across workflows without having to redefine it each time. And we'll show you as we go through our lessons what that looks like. Okay, that's a quick introduction to workflows. There are other entries in here that we'll drill down more as we go through, including how to reference the documentation and use that when you're creating certain elements in your workflows. So that was a very quick introduction. We're going to go through this in a lot more detail as we break down each aspect of workflow automation in the Meraki dashboard to show you how this new power can help you achieve more capabilities in your day-to-day operations. I look forward to talking to you about that, and we'll see you in the next lesson.